time for Nerdgasm.
Hey, what's up, Nerdgasm fans? Jerry here, aka Barnacules, and today I got a little bit of a treat to show you guys. Now, you all know that I have a full-blown racing simulator up here in the Nerd Cave. It's basically comprised of an Oboto Revolution cockpit, which is by far the most rigid cockpit I've ever tested. It's coupled with a Thrustmaster T500 RS force feedback wheel and a set of Fanatec Club Sport V2 pedals. It also has a TH8 gated shifter. Now, this has been a great setup for a long time, but my biggest gripe with it is always the pedals. I've tried multiple pedal sets, and you run into the same problems over and over and over again. The brake pedal just doesn't feel right. I went from a potentiometer to a load cell-based brake, and that felt better, but it still wasn't that great. And braking is like the most important thing in racing. Well, unless you're drag racing. Well, even then, you probably want to stop then, right? Well, anyways, my friends over at Main Performance PC, the same guys that I bought the Oboto Revolution from, sent me a package. And it's a big package.
If you know what I'm saying.
And they also sent me a little package too. Well, as you can clearly see, the side of the box says Sim Pedals, so I'm thinking there might be a new pedal set for the old simulator in there. What do you guys say we opened up and take a look?
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes.
Alright guys, well this box is a little too big to unbox on the desk, so we're going to get down on the floor. And don't mind the blue tape, I might have peeked inside of the box before shooting the video.
I'm sorry, I got impatient. That
song's going to be the death of me. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Oh my gosh, a freaking thing of beauty. You guys don't even know. The video doesn't even do these things justice. Oh my god. Oh, they're just freaking beautiful. Oh, look at that right there. That is heavy, man. That is like over 20 pounds easily. All right, well, let's get it up on the desk and take a closer look. Guys, this is straight up simulator porn right here. I mean, I don't even know where to start. These things, they're super heavy. Everything on here is metal. This is just nuts. Each one of these pedals look like they're all cut out of like a billet piece of aluminum. The pedals just all feel rock solid as a unit. But what really catches my eyes is it's got a Willwood disc brake slave cylinder and a brake master cylinder full of hydraulic fluid. So this is essentially simulating a real brake pedal in a car. And not even just a real brake pedal, like a race car brake pedal, because Willwood makes really, really high-end stuff. This setup as it sits right here is $899 plus an additional $349 to do the brake setup with the brake master cylinder and slave cylinder to give you that real hydraulic brake. But you know what they say, you get what you pay for, and I can tell looking at this thing that a lot of R&D went into this. And if you're into racing simulation, the first thing you learn very, very quickly is that having a good pedal set is very, very important because accurate acceleration and braking in and out of turns is where you get your speed. All right, included in the box with the pedals, you get a little baggie and it's got some stuff in it. So let's take a look at that. Looks like you have a little manual here that shows you how to make all the adjustments, how to install stuff. I should also mention that these pedals are compatible with numerous different wheels. If you have a Thrustmaster wheel or you have a Fanatec wheel, you can actually get all the individual cables, or even a Logitech wheel, you can get all of the individual cables from them. There's a link down in the video description to connect them to all those platforms. I'm gonna be connecting them to my computer directly via USB. But if you're using a console or you're playing Forza or Gran Turismo or something like that with your wheel setup, you can plug the pedals in through your wheel so that it'll be completely compatible. All right, also in the bag, it looks like we have a USB cable. It's just a standard USB cable. We have a rubber nipple.
Boing!
Actually, I don't know what that's for yet. And they even include the tools. They include two wrenches and a whole assortment of Allen keys so that you can basically strip the pedals and install them and everything without having to go dig through your garage for tools. I love that. So here I have a set of purpose-built brackets for mounting that pedal set specifically onto the Oboto Revolution. But if you have an Oboto Ozone cockpit, you can buy the mounting brackets for that. You can custom make your own brackets if you have a homebrew setup. Or if you're just using a floor standing setup, you can buy the brackets that will mount the pedal set on the floors. Then you can just set it on non-slip pads down on your floor and use them just like any other pedals. All right, let's pour them out. Okay, it looks like we have some U-bolts here. And then wrapped in some nice foam, we have the actual brackets. All right, so here we have the first bracket. They're incredibly heavy duty, and it looks like they have the little holes for the pedal set to slide into and lock into place. And included, it looks like we have 4 U-bolts, and they have some rubber tubing on them. I'm sure that's just to keep stuff from moving around. And now it's time for this baby to get the biggest pedal upgrade it's ever had in its entire life.
Let's do this.
All right, guys, so I got the old pedals off the simulator. They used to be just bolted down to this platform right here, but these install a little bit differently because they're inverted. They're designed to be like this, like in your normal car. So the installation seems like it's pretty simple and straightforward. You just take these brackets here, and they literally just set on the side like that. And you can see they got a slight angle at them, so it basically levels out the holes. So we know that's the way it's supposed to go when it's mounted on the simulator. So we're just going to take that, slide it on. Now you'll have to use the included tools to loosen up the little bite screws that hold the bars in place. Just leave them loose until you're fully ready to install them in their position. All right, so now that we got both ends on the pedal sets, we want to go ahead and tighten down these little Allen screws here. All right, so now the pedals are ready to go into the simulator. Basically just pick them up so they look like they're just ready to go into car, put them in sideways, then just lift them up and set them on the bars. Just like that. Now you can see that these little guys are resting on the bar, and there is a rubber pad under each one of these resting on the bars so I can grip it really tightly. Now coming around to the other side, you can see that's just resting on the bars, and now the pedals are at the right angle. And now you can see from this angle here, it looks like real pedals in a real car. All right, that feels perfect right about there. Okay, now take the U-bolts, just take the little nuts off, feed them through the bottom, just like this, and then just put the nuts right back on the top. Now, I just realized the other side wasn't completely lined up, so don't tighten these guys down, the little ones on these brackets, until you have them in place. So I'm just going to loosen them up a little bit, and I've got a little dead blow hammer here I'm going to use just to move them over a little bit. Okay, everything is perfectly aligned at this point, so I'm going to go ahead and just tighten everything down. We're going to start by tightening up these little Allen screws that bite into the bar so the pedals can't move back and forth. Okay, now just use the enclosed wrenches to tighten these guys down. All right, so once you're done, you have everything tightened down. You want to make sure you tighten these down and that little Allen key over here on the back side. Once that's tightened down all the way around, you are good to go. And you can see these are on there. All right, the pedals are mounted. I'm in my seat. You can see I got gas pedal just like a real car. I got a brake, and it feels like a real brake on a real car. And they feel fantastic. All right, so that's it. The pedal set is installed and ready to go. However, I did make a few adjustments. One of the cool things about these pedals, they're pretty much infinitely adjustable. So if you look down here, there's a little screw that you can adjust, and that adjusts the length and the travel of the pedal. So you can basically set where you want the pedal to stop. You can also change the force on the pedal, on the clutch and the gas by adjusting these two little nuts here and this locking nut, and put as much tension as you want on it so your gas pedal and clutch can have completely different customized tensions and travel. Now, as you can see on the gas pedal, I already elongated the spring a lot because I like a light gas pedal, so that's what I have now. And the brake is now fully hydraulic with the master cylinder. So I yank on it, it actually compresses like it's actually compressing a disc brake. Now, if you truly want to get even more hardcore, you can even loosen these guys here and physically move the pedals anywhere you want. So if you want to put the brake closer to the gas for heel-toe braking, you can do that. If you want to move the clutch in closer, you want to group the pedals or move them further apart, you can do that. It's completely customizable. Now, the pedal set does flex a little when you push on the brake really, really hard, but honestly, I don't think it flexes any more than the pedals in your regular car would. All right, all that's left to do is to plug in the USB cable. And they have a little tag saying to route the USB cable right through here on your gas pedal. All we got to do is plug her in now and calibrate it. All right, calibrating the pedals was super simple. I just opened up iRacing, went in and put each pedal through its range. And I can tell you right now that that brake has a lot of range. You can really, really smash on that thing. All right, well, I figured out the best way to test this is just to get right into a race in iRacing. So we're going to go ahead and start up. I haven't actually been in a real iRacing race for a very long time. So we'll just have to see how this goes. Now, guys, realize I have not raced in literally months. I want to get back into simulation, so this is actually a really, 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 really good step. So don't judge me too harshly. Watch my other videos. I did do a little bit of practice with the pedals beforehand. So, whoa, looking at the camera, not where I'm driving. I did a little practice, and you know, I feel a lot more confident with these pedals, especially because the brake feels so much more natural, especially when you're sharing pedals and you're going into a corner. When you give it a decent amount of pressure, it only gives it about 10% of braking force, which is like what you'd expect in a car with a hydraulic braking system. So when you're going into a corner, you can really put your foot into it hard and let it nice and gentle. And the pressure feels right. That's the problem I have with the Fanatec pedals and the load cell, is they still move like a regular spring-loaded pedal until they hit the barrier at the back, and then the load cell starts to load up and it just feels completely unnatural, but you still get way too much brake force in the beginning with just a little pressure. You can adjust it and play with it, but it just doesn't feel right. There's just something about a hydraulic brake. You know, if you drive a real car on the street, you just get used to it. Little corkscrew action. It's really hard to talk and drive at the same time, so it'll be interesting to see how this turns out. But it's really nice too. I like how much movement there is on the pedals, on the gas pedal especially. It gives you much more granular control of the throttle. It's not so twitchy and jerky. You can even share the pedals a little bit, just to give it a tiny bit of brake while you're getting on the gas. And it's nice because it's that finesse with the throttle that lets you bring in the front end like that. Ooh, got some guys coming up on me here. Actually, guys, I think I'm in the race because my computer actually crashed and I had to reboot, and I think I was late. Ooh, get on that brake hard. I think I was late to join the race. Okay, I got the blue flag. Got to let these guys by. Absolutely love the feel of these pedals, though. They feel every bit as much as a real car. Now, earlier I showed you that the pedals, when you push on the brake really hard, have quite a bit of flex to them. Just because of the iron rod, or the rod design and the way that they're installed. But when you're actually driving, you don't notice it at all. Even when you're sharing pedals, you don't feel any of that flex. You see it when you look at it, but you certainly don't feel it. I do feel a lot more in control with this pedal set though. But you can ease into the brake. Oh, and you got tons and tons of room with the brake pedal. It's nice. If the car starts getting out of form, you can let up on the gas and the brake, and it's not so dramatic. With like the Fanatec pedals and the Thrustmaster pedals, you don't have a lot of pedal movement. So very little movement is all you have to work with. So you have to have like surgeon's feet. I don't know if that's actually a thing. But I'm blown away by how good this feels. I actually got to play around with a $40,000 racing simulator, and I felt like the pedals on it weren't as good as this. But I can tell you right now, even without even trying the base model of these pedals, I'll tell you now, get that hydraulic brake. Really do it, because the gas pedal feels good, it's adjustable, you can move stuff around, so they're a great pedal set for that. But what really makes these pedals shine is that brake. That brake is everything. Guys, watch my other racing videos. I mean, I usually am not doing this well. I'm placing the car, I mean, I know this probably looks like amateur hour, but for me, I'm placing the car good. And you ease into that brake, downshift a second, there we go, let out the clutch nice and easy. Ooh, I cut that corner a little bit. Also, I noticed that because the gas pedal moves so much, it's a lot easier to recover from slides because you have so much gas to play with. You can give it a very little bit, and you're not doing that whole modulation thing that you end up doing, trying to find that sweet spot with a lesser pedal. Ooh, missed a gear. There we go. You guys can even watch my brake force meter on the screen down in the corner. Hopefully you guys can see it from the camera capturing all three screens. But you'll see when I'm going in, I'm actually giving it quite a bit of brake pressure, and I'm rarely going past 50%. We'll go out and drive a real car. And like my STI, for instance, it's got Brembo brakes on it. And it's the same way. If you want to lock up the tires, you really got to grenade that brake. I mean, you got to push it with damn near all your might. And I found with the Fanatec Club Sports and the Thrustmaster pedals, you could lock up the brakes just by gently pushing. It didn't take much. And you could tinker with the software and you could change the sensitivity, but even so, you still had that first initial movement where you weren't being challenged by any pressure against your foot. With the hydraulic system, you definitely feel that. Hey, I'm actually keeping up with this yellow guy better than I expected considering how far ahead he was. Second gear. This corkscrew just kills me every time. There we go. Yeah, I'm kind of proud of how well I'm doing considering I haven't been on the sim in a long time. Pedals definitely give you some confidence. You can also share the pedals really nice too, which I like. They're far enough apart and you can adjust their placement. Even the stock placement, I didn't mess with the distance between the pedals, but it's perfect for doing, left foot braking. And what's nice about that is in a car like the MX-5, I found that if you can give it just a tiny bit of brake, you don't want to overdo it, a tiny bit of brake and then use the gas at the same time, you can actually get the front end to come around a little bit. See, just lighten up on that brake and that gas. Sharing pedals is also a big deal in rally racing. That's something I do a lot more in real life than track racing. You steer more with the gas and the brake in rally than you do with the damn steering wheel. Coming in, get my third gear ready, nice and easy on the clutch. Track to the outside. I could have carried a lot more speed through there, but that's okay. I'm trying to finish the race. Well, we started off thinking this is practice, but because of that damn reboot, I actually just started in the pits late. I didn't realize that's how it worked. But I'm glad I actually made it into the race, because I think if I enter a race and I don't actually get in it, I get a DNF, and I think that affects my license. I don't remember. You guys can tell me down in the comments. Okay, come on, baby. Now, I did do a little bit of practice with these pedals not wearing shoes. And it can be done, but if you've ever driven a real car without wearing shoes, you notice it just feels weird. It's the same with these pedals. I would recommend wearing shoes when using these. You don't have to, but that definitely enhances the experience. Oh, come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. Whew. Don't know what the hell I was doing with the clutch right there. Jeez. I was having a brain fart while I was talking to you guys. Rifle through the gears. Now, if you guys are curious about the other things, up here I'm running iRDDU. It's an open source software that gives you a heads-up display on your fourth monitor or auxiliary monitor. You can even plug in a USB monitor. It doesn't have to be a high-performance monitor. And on my HUD here in front of my steering wheel, I'm using an iPhone 5S. I'm going to share that brake and gas a little here. Use that iPhone 5S with iHUD by Naughty Dog Software. Works really good. And I also have an iPad right here running the same software connected to a server. And that way I have all my gauges. I have a shift light right in my view. It's very nice. When I was practicing earlier, right after I installed the pedals, I noticed that I could recover from slides way easier. I maybe recover from 1 out of 50 slides before. I've recovered almost all of them. I found that because the brake and the gas aren't so freaking sensitive, I get a lot more control. Third, one down to second, twist in. Now, I almost always used to spin the car coming through that corkscrew, because I'd end up modulating too much brake and too much gas coming through there. And now I don't have that problem anymore, so that makes the whole pedal set awesomely worth it. See that? I feel like the brake, I feel like I have more control over initiating that oversteer. I do genuinely love these pedals though. It's a pretty monstrous upgrade. Now I want to get a proper wheel. I don't like how gear, it feels like there's gears in the T500 RS and like the G27 Logitech. I want to get one of those linear AC drive motors where it just feels like it's very, very fluid and hydraulic. I'd love to try something like that. If you guys have recommendations for those types of wheels, put them down in the comments. I'd love to hear about them. But one thing I'll tell you is Main Performance PC built a hell of a cockpit, because when I was shopping for cockpits, this Oboto Revolution was the only one I could find because I'm almost 300 pounds. So, you know, I'm beefcake. I need a big sim. And the seat fits me really well on this, and there's no flex to it. I mean, it also weighs a ton, so I put it on furniture sliders. But literally when I got it, my mind was blown how beefy it is compared to, you know, some of the other racing seats out there. So if you're a big gentleman like me, I highly recommend you get one of these cockpits. Well guys, I finished the race, and that's awesome because I didn't wreck not even once. I didn't spin out. I finished 8th overall, and my fastest lap time was a 1:49 at Laguna Seca in the Mazda MX-5 Cup, which for me is pretty damn respectable. Now, I think I've said it enough during this video. I absolutely love these pedals. It's amazing to have real car pedals, like real race car pedals on my simulator. It feels absolutely different in every possible way you can think of from any of the plate-mounted pedals that come from the bottom up. It's just, it's amazing. But let's go ahead and get the cons out of the way, and there are a few of them. The first most obvious con is they do have some flex to them. When you push on the brake pedal super hard, and I'm telling you, this thing has the range to let you really mash on it, you will experience some flex. But the funny thing about it is when you look at it when you're doing it, you see it flex, and to be honest, it's actually not that much. But when you push on it, you can see the flex, but when you're actually racing and you just have your feet on the pedals, you don't feel that flex at all with your feet. It's completely transparent to your feet. It's just when you're looking at it, you're like, oh, it's flexing a little bit. And to be honest, that wouldn't bother me so much, but it's just the Obodo Revolution cockpit is the most rigid thing I own. Like, my car isn't as rigid as this thing. You could drive an Abrams tank over it. The thing has no flex at all to it. So it's just weird seeing a component attached to it that has some flex. Now, the second con, of course, is the price. These things carry a hefty price tag. For the base model without the hydraulic clutch, you're looking at $899 US. When you add the brake into the mix, plus the bracket to mount it to the simulator, you're looking at nearly $1,400. Now, from a consumer point of view, you might be saying, oh my God, that's really expensive. But if you look at some of the professional simulators that have pedal setups like this, some of those simulators are $20,000, $40,000, even $100,000. And some of the wheels that you get, like the performance wheels that have the AC linear motors in them, everything, you're looking at $3,000 to $4,000 just starting. So I'm not gonna lie, my simulator seems a little unbalanced now because it has a professional pedal set on it and it's got a Thrustmaster T500 RS wheel. So I think the next thing I need to upgrade is the wheel. So if you guys have recommendations, definitely give them to me. Well, realistically, those are my only two cons. So now let's just get into the pros. The pros are the brake feels exactly like it does in a car. It has a genuine hydraulic feel to it. From the slight amount of pressure all the way to mashing your foot into the thing, the way that it gives way to you definitely feels hydraulic. It's got that, I don't want to say spongy feel because it's not a spongy feel, but you definitely feel the increasing pressure. And it's not like it's transitioning from a spring to a pressure plate. And that's what I felt like the Fanatec pedals did. They were a huge improvement on the T500 RS, which were just potentiometer pedals. Literally, the pressure was the same all the way through. Those are horrible. So the Fanatecs were a step up from that, whereas you could push into them, and you'd eventually hit a spot where the pedal would almost stop, and then you were just applying more force. With the hydraulic pedal, it feels right out of the gate, from the second you start to push on it, you already feel that resistance. It's not like the pedal moves and then you feel that resistance. So it's way, way more realistic. I can't explain it better than that. Go out into your car, start the motor, and pump the brakes. That's what it feels like.
Well, unless you happen to drive a really old car that's got a lot of water in the brake fluid. In that case, it feels nothing like that.
And I love that the pedal tension can be changed for the clutch and the gas. And the pedal travel is huge. I absolutely love that. And you can adjust where the pedal stops. So you can effectively change the range of the pedal. So you can move the pedals in and outward. You can place them. I'm actually going to go take measurements off my STI tomorrow so that I can actually get accurate measurements between the brake and the gas and everything, so I can move the pedals around. So what I have here matches what my car is. So as far as versatility, adjustability, range of motion, I've never used anything that even touches these. And I've even tested a $40,000 racing simulator before, and honestly, I felt nothing like this. So this is amazing. So realistically, these pedals are targeted at an enthusiast, right? I mean, or a kid with a lot of money. So if you're a kid with a lot of money, yeah, pedals. But in all seriousness, if you're a huge iRacing guy and you got the huge cockpit built out with the fancy wheel and the fancy shifter, this pedals will complement it perfectly. If you're somebody who's looking to get into racing simulation and you're willing to put a couple grand into it and you want to just go big, the Obodo Revolution coupled with these is a match made in heaven. But if you're that guy that's only looking to spend $300 to $500 to get a full cockpit with a wheel and pedal set, obviously this isn't for you. So guys, if you have any questions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments or come tweet me. I am at Barnacules over on Twitter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a little bit long-winded because I wanted to show the whole install process. I wanted to go through and review them. I wanted to do some racing. This kind of turned into something that should have been like 2 or 3 videos, but I was like, screw it. I'm gonna keep it all together because I'm having too much fun. And I hope you guys really enjoyed watching it. And if you made it to the end of this video, hashtag Jerry didn't reckon iRacing, oh my god, because I really think we can get that a trend. And if you guys would like to buy your own pedal set or check out the simulator that I'm using, head over to mainperformancepc.com. I also have all the links down in the video description. And you can go over and check out the pedals. They build custom water-cooled PCs. They build these racing simulators, the Ozone and the Revolution. The Revolution is the high-end simulator. And this thing, I'm telling you guys, try one out. If you're a big guy like me and you've been looking for a simulator, this is what you want. You don't want a play seat. I've sat in a play seat. If you were 300 pounds, play seats like move around like Play-Doh. This is your thing right here. All right, guys, well, I'm going to wrap it up because I smell food. And you know what that means. It's time to go eat. All right, guys, take it easy, and until next time. Hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Also, come over to Twitter. I'm at Barnacules. I'm a real social guy. Also, if you have a couple of minutes, check out some of these many other videos. I made them myself.